When Jared Kushner spoke as they were opening up the embassy in Jerusalem, he said that the real problem is the protesters in Gaza. What he meant by that is the problem is Palestinians won't give up. Palestinians are still out here. Palestinians are still fighting for their rights. Palestinians and their supporters and their allies are out here fighting for them. So what Jared Kushner means is that we are the problem. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
I don't know about you guys, but I'm very proud to be a problem for Zionists. Our next speaker is Roger Walters. Roger Waters, I apologize. Where? No problem.
Free, free Palestine!
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 I'm from an organization called the December 12th Movement. When we began in December of 1987, we held a day of outrage to stop New York City because of the institutional racism, police brutality that we faced around New York State. And when we held that day of outrage on December 21st, 1987, the next day, the New York Times reported about it, and in another column, reported about an uprising that had begun in Palestine. It was the first intifada. So from our inception, our movement and the Palestinian movement has been connected. I wear this hat of Malcolm X because tomorrow is Malcolm X's birthday, his 93rd anniversary of his birth. Malcolm X is, by his words and deeds, is the example for our organization. And one of the things Malcolm X used to say when he was speaking to people, he would tell them that he was in prison. And he said, don't be shocked, all black people are in prison. Some of us on the inside, some of us on the outside. And if Malcolm X were alive today and he saw Gaza, he would say, not only do we face mass incarceration of black people in our communities, but in Gaza, the entire community is incarcerated. And they must be free. So we stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people. Black people understand that the United Nations had it right when they passed a resolution that said Zionism is racism. And one of the demands that we have to make again is for the United Nations to reinstate that resolution that Zionism is racism. That the fight we face here in the United States against institutional racism, white supremacy, and apartheid is the same fight that the Palestinian people face. So we support the demands that have been set out before, and we take the position, free, free Palestine!
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 من الميان الميان
من الميان الميان
فلسطين عربية
فلسطين عربية
من الميان الميان
من الميان الميان
فلسطين عربية
فلسطين عربية
ومن الميان الميان
من الميان الميان
فلسطين عربية
فلسطين عربية
And from the river to the sea
from the river to the sea
Palestine
New York. We are out here today because last Monday, 62 people were shot down in cold blood and thousands more injured for trying to exercise the most basic right a human being can have, the right to go home. They were trying to break out of the world's largest concentration camp, today's Warsaw Ghetto, because where their families have been imprisoned for generation after generation for no other crime than being born Palestinian in the land of Palestine. Women, children, old people, and while they sit in Gaza with poisoned water and no electricity and no jobs, they look across the wire and they see the land where their that was stolen from their parents and grandparents at gunpoint by garbage like those across the street. And they see condos and timeshares and luxury hotels for settlers from the United States. The biggest real estate company in Israel, in Palestine, is called Anglo-Saxon Realty, and its big business is selling Palestinian land to settlers from the United States. But it's more than just the big real estate interests. There are much more powerful corporate interests, the military and oil. The people who died were shot by snipers in cold blood. They know when they're shooting a child. They know when they're shooting a man in a wheelchair. It's precise and calculated murder. And every bullet fired, every expanding bullet that blows off somebody's leg, every tear gas canister, every missile from an F-16 or an F-22 or an F-15 is paid for by your tax dollars. So, if you spend 3 hours getting home on the subway tonight, or if you are from Puerto Rico and your family has been without power for 7 months, or you're a student burdened down with debt, or you can't afford medical care, know that the politicians in Washington and the ruling class of this country would rather spend billions denying power and electricity and water to the people of Gaza than helping the people of Puerto Rico or Flint, Michigan. So we have a big job to do here, because the racist apartheid state of Israel would be nothing without U.S. dollars. So our job is to if you end all U.S. aid to the racist state of Israel, it would collapse tomorrow. And if they think by murdering people they can bring peace, they will not. There will never be peace in the land of Palestine until every Palestinian has the right to live in peace and freedom in every corner of their own homeland. And we will win. Nikki Haley, who walked out, the UN on Palestine, she was the governor of South Carolina. She longs for the Confederate States of America. But Israel will go the same way as the Confederate States of America. That's my good neighbor John over there. They can kill, they can lie. Palestine will never die. They can kill, they can lie. Palestine will never die. Israel is a racist state built on lies, blood, and hate. Israel is a racist state built on lies, blood, and hate.
Israel is a racist state built on lies, blood, and hate.
Israel is a racist state built on lies, blood, and hate.
Israel is a racist state built on lies, blood, and hate.
Israel is a racist state built on lies, blood, and hate.
باب الأقصى من حديد ما بيفتح لنا الشهيد.
باب الأقصى من حديد ما بيفتح لنا الشهيد.
give it up for our next speaker, Raja, who has too many titles, so I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, it's been 70 years of Nakba, 70 years of destruction, 70 years of occupation, 70 years of colonialism, 70 years of mass destruction and genocide against our people in Palestine and against our people in the region. But it's also been 70 years of resistance, 70 years of resilience, 70 years of fighting back, and 70 years of the new generations holding the keys to our homes in 1948. Golda Meir, may she rot in hell, said back in the days that the old will die and the young will forget. But guess what? Not only are the youth in Gaza risking their life for Palestine, the youth in the US here are not forgetting the land of Palestine. So out of Times Square here, we're telling Golda Meir and we're telling the majority of the Zionists that look around, a new generation is rising, a new generation is coming here to liberate Palestine from your filth. And guess what? The old might die, but before dying, they pass on the keys. They pass on the struggle. And today, you can look at the people around, the organizers, all of them have been youth, organizing this from A to Z, making sure that the narrative of Palestine is protected, the narrative of Gaza is protected, and the struggle is protected. But I'm not coming here just to cheer you up. There's few messages, three items that I want to emphasize before I leave quickly. Number one, in the time that we're living in the Trump era, we have to go back to the basics. The bill of moving the embassy of the US from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem has passed in 1967 by Clinton and not by Trump. Trump used the bill that was passed in 96 to win an internal political rivalry with the liberals and the Democrats. So we're not going to allow this time, we're not going to allow this opportunity for the liberals to come, infiltrate our movement, and destroy our narrative. We're not going to allow their hate for Trump to come and distort our cause, to change it from a cause of return to a cause of political disagreement. Because our cause is about life and death. Our cause is about the land, all of the land. Number two, into going back to the basics and going back to the root cause, Palestine is a cause that was created, or is it an outcome of a settler colonial project that was carried on by the Zionist movement in Europe, supported by colonial powers, to establish a colony in the Middle East to protect the interests of European colonialism, and to what? To get rid of the Jews from Europe. The colonial powers were anti-Semites that kicked out of the Jews from Europe to become their agents, a settler colonial colony in the land of Palestine. And that leads us to the third point, which is why is Jerusalem and Gaza are important, and why are they struggling today, and why are we seeing and witnessing a massive destruction, massive genocide against our people in Jerusalem and Gaza. Because as I mentioned, a settler colonial project cannot succeed without erasing the history, without erasing the culture, and most importantly, without erasing the identity of our people in Palestine. Jerusalem, with its history, with the holy sites, the Muslim and Christian holy sites in Jerusalem, always and will always be a refutation and a contention against the Zionist claim of Jerusalem. If they allow them to Judaize, and they allow them to erase our history, to erase our culture, they will succeed into stealing the land. Because without history, you have no claim of the land. So it's important for them. It's important for them to erase this history. It's important for them to destroy Masjid al-Aqsa, to destroy the Christian presence, to destroy the Muslim presence. And that's why they use the narrative that this is not a religious conflict. And they claim that this is not a Muslim issue. Guess what? It is a Muslim issue. It is a Christian issue. It is a human issue. It is an issue of every single moral campus that we follow. Because if it was not, or if it's not for the Muslims, for the Arab, for the Christian, and for the Western world, the good people of the Western world, and most importantly in Latin America, standing with our people in Palestine, there would be no Palestine. There would be no Palestine without the Muslims claiming that this land belongs to us, along with the Christians and the Jews who lived with us for thousands of years. The Zionist claim will be validated. So when we say it's not a religious conflict, it's true. But we cannot erase the religious significance of the land, because it protects our narrative, it protects our land, and it protects our history. And finally, and it's very important, and this is an emotional thing for me to talk about, which is Gaza. Brothers and sisters, Gaza has been under siege. And I still remember since 2010, 2007, and 6 and 8, when we were protesting in the siege on Gaza. But until today, the siege is still lasting. The siege is being empowered not only by the Zionists, but also by the Egypt Sisi and by the Palestinian authorities. The people of Gaza have been struggling enough. The families in Gaza have been hurt. The people in Gaza are struggling from poverty, from hunger. Yet, they have so much dignity to stand up for their enemies. The people of Gaza in the Great March, they are marching towards their homes, their lands that they were expelled from in 1948. They know very well that they're not going to cross. They know very well that they're not going to make it to these cities. They know very well that they're not going to go to Akka and Haifa and Bisan. Yet they're trying. Yet they go to the borders to sacrifice their lives. So the cause continues. So the youth of Gaza, 20 and 19 and 18, are risking their lives. They're literally welcoming death, only for one reason. It's not materialistic. It's not materialistic. A reason of symbol, a reason that only exists in people who have greed in their claim of the land. People who really believe that this land is mine and that Palestine is mine, and I'm willing to die for my land. So we need to make it clear that if Gaza fails, we all fail. If Gaza dies, the Palestinian cause dies. If the people in Gaza are left alone to face global capitalism and imperialism, if they're left alone to deal with Israeli occupation and colonialism, they will eventually suffocate. And it becomes very hard for them to continue their struggle. It becomes impossible, materialistically impossible, to free the land of Palestine. So we need to make sure that Gaza is not left alone. We need to make sure that Gaza rises up again from the ashes. We need to tell the Zionists rise from the ashes. And Gaza, the soldiers of Gaza, the women of Gaza, the men of Gaza, the boys of Gaza, the girls of Gaza, every single person in Gaza will be marching to our land in 1948. And I promise, Bismillah, very soon, we'll be marching to free Palestine from the river to the sea. And I don't care what the liberals say. I don't care what everybody says. I care about the people who risk their life in Gaza. That Palestine is from the river to the sea. And Palestine will be free one day, inshallah. Thank you.
I just need everyone to step back a little bit. We have a lot of people out in the front and people are entering from here, from behind me. So we need people to move back, to make space for them, to join our rally. Go all the way back to the end of the barricades if you're in the back and you hear me and you can. Thank you. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Long live Palestine!
Long live Palestine!
Long live Intifada!
Intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Intifada!
Long live Intifada!
Intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Intifada!
Please give it up for our next speaker, Sayyid Abbas from the Al-Quds Committee.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Back up, please, everybody.
In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. On behalf of our National Non-Profit Muslim Congress, I would like to thank each and every one, all of you respectable brothers and sisters who have gathered here in Manhattan to protest against the atrocities of the Zionist regime. We, the Muslim Americans, condemn all the oppressions, false flag operations, warmongerings, and the fear-mongering and the terrorism in its totality. We support the innocents who have been killed on 9/11, like we support those innocents who were killed in London, in Paris, and we also condemn the killing of the innocent people in the Middle East, be it in Palestine or Iraq or Yemen, because they are no less human beings. There is no justification, brothers and sisters, to support a terrorist or a terrorist regime, because terrorism has no faith. If you tell me that the Bible teaches you terrorism, I'm not going to buy it. If you tell me that the Torah teaches you terrorism, I'm not going to buy it. If you tell me the Quran teaches you terrorism, I'm not going to buy it. A terrorist is a terrorist is a terrorist and needs to be condemned, and terrorism must be condemned in its totality. Our message, brothers and sisters, is the message of respect. If you see your Jewish neighbor, you must respect him. If you see your Christian neighbor, you must respect him. My faith teaches me to respect the Jews and Christians. My faith teaches me to respect the Torah and the Bible. But when it comes to Zionism, the things are different. Because Zionism stands for oppression. Zionism stands for occupation. Zionism stands for warmongering and false flag operations and violence and aggression, and there is no justification for killing any innocent person regardless of his faith. So just few days ago, this city of New York witnessed thousands of my fellow Jewish neighbors, respectable Jewish neighbors, protesting on the 70th anniversary according to the Jewish calendar for the Zionist state. New York witnessed thousands of honorable Jewish people protesting against the atrocities of the Zionist state, and I witness that the Jews are one of the biggest victims of Zionism. And we support those Jews who are oppressed, whether it's inside the state of Israel or outside, because there is no justification for victimizing or killing or injuring any innocent person regardless of his faith. Brothers and sisters, killing of a pregnant woman is not self-defense. Killing of a disabled person is not self-defense. Killing of babies and women is not self-defense. And one word for those of my fellow Americans who call the Zionist entity to be our democratic ally, one word for them: the Zionist state is neither a democracy nor an ally. For that kind of ally to be on our side, we don't need any enemies. Israel is not a democracy. A democracy is a form of government that respects its fellow citizens, where the practicing Jews and the practicing Christians and the practicing Muslims have no respect, and animals inside the Zionist state have more respect than the Muslim community and the practicing Jewish community and the practicing Christian community inside the Zionist state. This is not democracy. We as Americans, we as Muslim Americans demand our lawmakers, our Congress, to stop selling the arms to the Zionist entity. Our government should not be part of the crime committed against humanity. We are here, brothers and sisters, to denounce the killing of more than 60 innocent Palestinians in Gaza.
Why are you laughing?
And the injuring of more than 2,700 Palestinians in Gaza. This is something which is done for no sin. Those people had no sin except one: freedom of expression. We denounce the atrocities of the Zionist regime against those Palestinian brothers and sisters. At the end, I would like to say that we stand hopeful, putting our trust in Almighty God, because Almighty God has promised to all of us that justice will prevail. Brothers and sisters, you are the voice of conscience. You are the voice of justice. And you are the hope and the true democracy. This is how the true democracy looks like. We shall not be intimidated by fear-mongering, because, as they say, fear is a choice. It's not the way to go. It's the way to go for those who have a decline in values. Our faith teaches us the values of humanity, and thus we are never intimidated by the fearmongers and the warmongers who are selling their wars for the benefit of the corporations, for the benefit of the banks, at the cost of countless innocent civilians being massacred. This is not acceptable for all of us. We as Muslim Americans demand of our lawmakers to recognize the crimes of the State of Israel. Those are the crimes that are documented by Amnesty International. Those are the crimes which are documented by the Human Rights Watch. Let me quote here from Philip Luther, Research and Advocacy Director for the Middle East and North Africa for the Amnesty International. Mr. Philip Luther says, this is another, and I quote, "This is another horrific example of the Israeli military using excessive force and live ammunition in a totally deplorable way. This is a violation of international standards and in some instances committing what appear to be a willful killing constituting war crimes." And Human Rights Director, the recent decision from the State of Israel is to expel the Human Rights Director. At the end, I end my speech with a promise. I promise to all of you that we will prevail. Because whenever a group of people, a nation, put its trust in Almighty God, stands and practices justice, God never leaves those people alone. Justice will prevail. May God bless you. Thank you.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Bombing Gaza is a crime!
Bombing Gaza is a crime!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Up next is Rabbi Weiss from the Neturei Karta.
With the help of the Almighty, He should bestow upon me His truth and words that we may sanctify His name. Kalbi makum Palestine! Kalbi makum Gaza! Our hearts are with you, Palestine! Our hearts are with you, Gaza! We are here because we are Jews! We are here because we are Jews who are commanded by the Almighty to stand up for what is righteous, to understand and to stand up for what is just. We must be here. We have to be here. I walk around through the years with the document of the United Nations when the chief rabbi of Palestine of blessed memory in 1947 pleaded with the United Nations, and I am quoting him, "We furthermore wish to express our definite opposition to a Jewish state in any part of Palestine." This is the view and this is the opinion of our Torah, of our Judaism. Nothing else has the right to stand and represent Judaism. We cry with the suffering of our brothers and sisters in Gaza. even permit, since the destruction of the temple, for Jews to have their own sovereignty. And we as Jews have gone through 2,000 years of suffering, yet we never occupied another people because it is forbidden. The covenant with God and the Torah says, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. We are forbidden to steal and kill, so we cannot have an occupation. It is forbidden. This is forbidden. The Torah states one should show gratitude for good done to you. Who but the Muslim countries for this last 1,000 years opened their doors and gave a home for the Jewish people, the Muslims? We are humiliated by what is being done in the name of our religion, in the name of the religious people from around the world. People think you are more Jewish, you are more Zionist. God forbid! The more Jewish, the more anti-Zionist you are! The Torah says, show gratefulness. We teach our children in schools that we should never forget the kindness, the love that was shown to us, and how we lived together in the streets of Al-Quds, how we helped each other, Christians with the Muslims and the Jews in one courtyard. We were like brothers and sisters, as we were in Iran and Iraq and Tunisia and Egypt. That we are not crying day and night, that there's not rivers of tears, is because our hearts are not big enough. But there should be rivers of tears for what is happening in Gaza and Palestine. We must not be silent, and with God's help we will not be silent. The time does not permit. We have to run up to catch the Sabbath, so I will end, but with God's help, let you know we didn't end with this speech. My brothers and sisters in Palestine, both the Jewish and the Palestinian, the Arab Muslims over there, they're demonstrating, and there's others who are in the hospitals, who are suffering with wounds. Let us remember them, and let us continue and not stop to demonstrate, not be intimidated. You are not anti-Semitic if you stand against the Zionist occupation. You are anti-Semitic if you support the occupation. Zionism is creating the greatest anti-Semitism around the world, and the endless river of blood of Palestinian Muslims, Palestinian Jews, and Jews around the world. They are the root cause of all this bloodshed. Let you know, let the world know. They dare to accuse the Palestinians of being anti-Semitic. They are the root cause of all this bloodshed. We lived together till they came in peace. Don't con the world. So with God's help, I leave you here, dear brothers and sisters. Continue with your voices. Don't be intimidated. God will accomplish what we must do. Stand up and continue until one day, soon in our days, inshallah, we will see a free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! And may we merit to see the day when the Almighty will reveal His glory throughout the world. Will all humanity